What's up, action takers, the community of doers? I hope you're doing fine. Episode 13, week 13, 52 weeks. Here we come. Now, do you believe in the idea that what you think has an effect on your life? That your thoughts create your future, and your thoughts create your life? If yes, when you woke up in the morning, did you intentionally create the kind of future that you want? Most people do, most people don't. The reason people don't create their own, or they don't think themselves into their future, is because they do not believe on that concept. Because if you believe on a gut level that what you think has an influence to your future, would you miss a day without thinking yourself into the positive or into the progress that you want to make? I bet you would. So it's important to create the idea of thinking yourself into those things that you want to accomplish, or into the progress that you want to build in your life. Having said that, it ushers me to what I want to talk about today, which is mindset. A concept that I know is talked about by many people, and I believe is very fundamental to how we live our day-to-day life. Because our thinking forms a very, very large part on how and what we do in our life. Now, before we go deep into mindset and just understanding how having the right mindset contributes towards a life of progress, I would like to invite you to subscribe to this YouTube channel, and I believe we are continuing to build this community, and appreciate everyone that is coming on board. Please like, share, subscribe, and let's keep on growing this community. Now, for a starter, let me give the definition for you just to understand the context of this. What do we define by, or what do we mean by the word mindset? Mindset refers to a set of beliefs, attitudes, and assumptions that shape how individuals perceive and respond to the world around them. It significantly influences people, how people think, feel, and behave in various situations. Basically, we mean how you think, what you believe to be true about yourself, what you believe to be true about your environment, about the world we live in, and how you respond to different aspects and the circumstances that happens around your life. That is very, very important on guiding how you live your day-to-day life. Why is it so much important? Because one, you will never live, or you will never go beyond the quality of your thoughts. What you believe to be true, that is exactly what you accept. And that is exactly what is going to happen in your life. So it means what? If you want to extend beyond a certain point, the most important thing is actually getting into that pursuit of going beyond that. But something that is very, very important that most people neglect, which is at some point actually very difficult, is actually believing that you can actually go beyond, or you can actually accomplish that. A very renowned speaker by the name Les Brown said this, that the hardest thing was not doing what he did for him to be able to be successful. The hardest thing that was him believing that he could actually do it. The reason why most people don't understand the complexity of this is because they don't actually believe in the first place. So they fail to recognize that you need a level of belief in what you want to do as much as you need to put in the action. If you want to be able to go to the next level, if it's your career, if it's your income, in your business, in your life, you have to believe that that place exists in the first place. For instance, if you want to grow your income or your revenue, you have to believe that there's somebody out there who is willing to pay you for what you are offering at that price that you think you deserve. So the aspect of believing that what you're trying to pursue exists and is achievable is an aspect that is very important or is very fundamental to us achieving that. Because the failure to believe that that exists denies our mind or our subconscious mind the tools necessary to go towards that place. So basically what I'm trying to explain is it is difficult for you to pursue things that you don't believe exist. I'm not saying that you should not have faith in what you're doing, because faith is belief of what you can't see. But as much as you have faith that you believe in what you can't see, but you have to believe that it exists. It has not yet materialized, but it actually exists. So the idea is believing that it exists, and with the right principles, philosophies, and taking action, and the resilience, consistency, all the tools that you require, you can actually achieve it because it exists. So the concept that I'm trying to drive here is the idea that you have to believe that what you want to accomplish actually exists. Now, let me look at different types of mindsets that we have for just context to be able to know when you're talking about mindset, because this is a subject that is talked about a lot of times. So when you're talking about mindset, what should you know, or what kind of information are we looking at, or what kind of understanding do you need for you to be able to have an advantage in the concept of mindset? The first thing that I want to look at is the different types of mindset that we have. I've broken it down to only 4 aspects. I know you can go, because we've said that mindset is what we believe to be true, and the kind of response that we have on different circumstances in life, and just the way we think, or the way we look at ourselves, or the way we look at the world. So there are very many aspects that you can look mindset, or there are very many perspectives that you can actually define mindset, because it's a whole conversation on beliefs. So there can be belief about a lot of aspects around your life. But to just take it from a broader perspective, I've been able to just broken it down into these 4 aspects that I think they touch in most aspects of our lives. And how I've broken it down is a fixed mindset, a growth mindset, and a positive mindset, and a negative mindset. That is a very broad perspective to look at it. So let me start with a fixed and a growth. Those are 2 mindsets. So I've taken the opposite of the other. So we have the growth mindset and the fixed mindset. I think you should pursue to have a growth mindset and not the fixed mindset. And this for this reason. So let me first give the definition for context. So a fixed mindset, it was a concept that was actually developed by a scientist, a psychologist for that matter, called Carol Dweck. And this is what he said. That a fixed mindset is the belief that abilities and intelligence are static traits, that they cannot be changed. The idea that what you see around yourself is very rigid to actually metamorphosize to other things. So there are some people who don't think beyond their current circumstances. They don't see a way in which they can move out of their current circumstances into what they want or what they would wish to have in their life. The contrary opinion is growth mindset. By definition it was also derived by Carol Dweck, so he did both aspects. And this is what he said, that a growth mindset is the belief that abilities and intelligence can develop through dedication, effort, and learning. People with a growth mindset embrace challenge and view failure as an opportunity for growth. So he was able to show that the fact that if you have a growth mindset, that is the conversation that you have with yourself, what you believe to be true about yourself, what you believe to be true about the world, how you interpret the world around you. He was able to actually show that if you have a growth mindset, you can see the way you can move from one step to another. With the necessary learning, you can actually grow your intelligence. With the necessary effort, you can actually grow your abilities. You can actually grow the kind of person you are. So it is the idea that it can actually happen for you. And the belief that there exists something better, which when I apply these principles, I can actually get there. So today it's all about belief and the self-talk that we have within ourselves and the interpretation we give to the circumstances surrounding our lives. So those are the two extreme ends. So I bet you want to be in the side of growth mindset. So by that I mean reevaluate what you think about your life on a day-to-day basis. Do you look at the circumstances around your life as unchangeable? Means you're in a fixed mindset. You need to look at circumstances in your life, your abilities, your intelligence, your capabilities, your potential. You need to look at it from a point of there is a better, you can do better, and you put the necessary action to actually be the better version that you think you can actually become. I hope you got on that. The other thing is the positive and the negative. Let me give by definition. Positive mindset. A positive mindset involves maintaining optimistic outlook and focus on the good aspect of any situation. It is associated with resilience, proactive approach to life. Positive mindset. The opposite of it is negative, and this is what, by definition, a negative mindset involves a pessimistic outlook and focusing on the drawbacks or potential failures in situations. It can lead to anxiety, stress, and the wrong attitude towards what you're doing. So for positive and negative, I think we can narrow it down to optimistic and pessimistic. So it goes back to, how do you look at life? Do you approach your day-to-day life from an optimistic perspective or from a pessimistic perspective? So it doesn't mean that you become naive or you become ignorant to the challenges that life presents to ourselves. But it is the idea that even in the midst of the challenge, you are optimistic enough to understand that you can do something about those challenges and actually things can turn out different. So as much as life has challenges, as much as we're going to encounter a lot of drawbacks in our lives, but thinking negatively will do you no good. Thinking negatively will do you no good. So even with the idea that you're going to face challenges, still approach life from a point of positive or optimistic mindset. Be positive. Look at the good in people. Don't be naive in what they are doing that is not working, but at the same time, your first instinct should not be looking at the negative. Because most people live their life looking at the wrong perspective. By the wrong perspective, what do I mean? It means that people look at life they fail to look at what they need to do for them to be able to achieve what they want, but they focus more on what is stopping them from achieving what they want. There is a story that was given by a very interesting thinker called Simon Sinek, and this is what he said, that there are two ways to look at a situation. One is to look at what you need to do for you to obtain what you want. And the other thing is you looking at what is stopping you from getting what you want. And this is what he said. He said that they went to a charity event where they were doing a marathon for a certain charity event. And at the end of the marathon, they were being given some free refreshments. So he told his friend, let's go get some refreshment. But his friend said, I cannot, the line is too long. So I can't stay in this very long line for me just to get some refreshment. But the refreshments were free. So Simon Sinek still insisted, it's free refreshment. So let's go get the refreshments. But the friend was still, the line is too long. Now, two people looking at a situation from completely different perspective. One is looking at free refreshments. The other one is looking at what is stopping me from getting the free refreshments, which is the long line. So you need to ask yourself, how do you look at situation in your day-to-day life? And that goes back to your thinking and now goes back to your mindset. Do you look at things from a perspective of what you're willing to do to achieve them, or do you look at situation and circumstances from the perspective of what is stopping you from getting that thing? Those are very, very two different perspectives to look at it. And they can actually influence what happens and the kind of agility and intensity that you go into those actions. Now, that is basically from a broader perspective on the question of mindset. So we already know that we can actually conclude that we need to adopt a growth mindset and a positive mindset. We need to adopt a growth mindset and a positive mindset. The other things that I want to look at is the kind of impact. What kind of impact do you obtain from having the right mindset? What kind of impact? Because it would be unfair if I don't give the importance of having the right mindset. So one is actually it affects your own behavior. How you go about your business on a day-to-day life. What you think to be true, or the kind of mindset that you have. It means the personal belief, the philosophies, your own principle and all that. That guides how you go about your day-to-day life. So having the right mindset gives you the right behaviors that you do go about on your day-to-day life, which also influences the kind of outcome that you get from those behaviors. So it is the mindset that you have that actually influences the kind of outcome that you have. Because the mindset affects the behavior, which affects the outcome. The other thing that I want to look at is how do you develop a growth mindset? How do you develop a growth mindset? How do you develop a growth mindset? And this is what I think. There are 4 aspects that I believe can allow you to develop a growth mindset. 1, embrace challenge. 2, learn from criticism. 3, persist in the face of setback. And 4, celebrate the effort. So, on embracing the challenge is the aspect, I think I've already talked about this, so I won't over-explain, but when you encounter challenges in life, approach the challenges from a point of optimism. That these are challenges, but you believe that you can actually go beyond them. So the aspect of actually believing that you can tackle the challenge and you come out at a better place, that's the kind of mindset, or that's the kind of ability or competence that you need for you to develop a growth mindset, so that you do not go back to thinking that these things can't change by the fact that you fear facing the challenge that you encounter. The other thing is in learning from criticism. Sometimes people who criticize you actually talking the truth. So it's important for you to actually take that from a positive perspective, which can allow you to develop a growth mindset. Taking that criticism and you actually applying it and seeing what can you change for you to turn out better. The other thing is persist in the face of challenge, of course. how do you persist in the face of challenge and setback is being resilient. So you don't stop at the inception of challenge. The reason I'm talking so much on challenge, because if things are going on well, I don't expect anyone to be like, oh, things are going so well, I think I should stop. These things are, no. The point in life where most people stop is when they face challenge. So growth mindset really capitalizes on what do you do when things are not going as you wish? What do you do when things are not going as you want them to go? Because if everything is going on well, I bet you will grow. But definitely we know that life is not a smooth run. We're going to encounter a lot of setbacks and challenge. So you really need to have a conversation with yourself on how you approach your challenging situations as you go about your business. The last one is celebrate the effort. Yeah, this is very important. Very, very important. It's about the journey. Because the most important thing is what you get with what you do. It is who you become with what you do. So it's not about the pursuit of happiness. It's the happiness of the pursuit. It is the satisfaction and the fulfillment that comes by knowing that on a daily or on a day-to-day basis, you're spending your time doing something that you're passionate about. Of course, the destination is very important, but even of the most important is the journey towards that destination. Actually, that is the most important. If right now we could give you the destination that you want, I bet you're not going to be the happiest person. But that's the satisfaction and the joy that comes from pursuing that what you want at all costs is what matters in the long run. The journey towards your destination, the person you become in the journey. Now, thank you for sticking up to this point. I really hope that this is going to allow you to see the importance of the way you think towards your life. It's so important that make it a point for yourself that every day, you're applying the right thinking that is going to influence your behavior, that is going to influence the outcome that you want with your life. And this is what I want to end with. That the person with the right thinking, even if he is average, he can outdo the person who is above average with the wrong thinking. That's how thinking is important. That is how thinking is important. And to sum it all up, all that, this is what I'll say. That it is not about the intelligence that you have. It is not about the capabilities that you have. It is not about the competence that you have. The most important thing is the thinking that is guiding your intelligence. It is the thinking that is guiding your ability. It is the thinking that is guiding your competence that matters at the end of the day. Thank you very much. And remember to always show up for your life. See you on the next one.